Good morning, folks. Heath here. I've taken a short reprieve from the book issue, and I'm finally getting back into it. I've got another book that I'd like to share with you today. This one is also in the Cameron High School Library. It is a realistic fiction book called Loveless. This one is a little bit different than the other books that I have read to you, where I go into the expressive, detailed sexual descriptions that are in the books. This one's different, and I still think that it is of concern to the parents and that parents should know about it. Book summary: a young woman seeks to identify her sexuality and lack of romantic attraction. Again, this is a fictional book. Summary of concerns: the book contains explicit sexual activity, expressive, frequent profanity, derogatory terms, alternate sexualities, alternate gender ideology, alcohol use by minors, and controversial cultural commentary. Let me show you the word count for this book. All right, here's the word count for this book. There's quite a bit in here, a lot of it. It's difficult to read. Struggling with describing my concerns about this book. It is of a different nature than the videos that I have made previously. This one does have some of the explicit sex acts in it, but the majority of my concern in it is this book is introducing children to alternate sexualities and alternate gender ideology. It's throughout the book. It describes a young female who, in the equivalent of high school, wants to be like her peers, where sex and making out are normal. Casual hookups are normal. And she describes that when she attempts to be normal like the rest of her peers, she feels uncomfortable. First with the boys, so because she's uncomfortable kissing a boy, it must be because she's into girls. So she tries these experiences with a girl. And when she is uncomfortable in that experience with a girl, it's not because she's a kid, it maybe isn't appropriate, maybe she should wait until later in her life to have sex. It is because she is of an alternate sexuality or because she's of an alternate gender ideology. And the author, through the main fictional character, explores these different gender ideologies. Folks, this book was not written for adults to read. This was not written to help adults figure out who and what they are. Look at the cover here. This book was written with the intended audience of being children. It introduces sexuality, alternate gender ideology to kids. It normalizes the hookup culture where people are having casual sex with absolute strangers. It makes it sound perfectly normal. And when you are uncomfortable in those situations with the hookup culture and casual sex, it's not because maybe it's not appropriate to do when you're a kid to have casual sex, that it's because you're of an alternate sexuality or of an alternate gender. And it describes resources to find and define what these alternate gender ideologies are. At the end of the book, and this is part of the reason that I believe that this is the entire purpose of the book, to sexualize our kids. Let me get to the last page. It provides resources with websites for these different things that they explore during the course of the book. Let me ask you, why are we sexualizing children in high school? This is appropriate content for an adult. Why are we giving this to young teens? Perhaps when a 14, 15, 16-year-old child kisses somebody, gropes somebody for the first time, or gets groped for the first time, and they are uncomfortable in it, maybe it's because deep down they know that it probably isn't appropriate at that age. I'd be willing to bet money that these topics are not covered in the human sexuality classes. If it is not appropriate to be taught as part of the curriculum, why do we have books like this in our libraries that are teaching these very things to our children? Why do we have books in the library that are written and intended for children to read about human sexuality?